Hi, Stephanie Evelo here with the Evelo team at Keller Williams Realty, and I am so excited to kick off this new year with our real estate market update. And we have our ever so faithful Bob Woerner, senior realtor partner with the Evelo team. And Bob, what you got for us? What has been happening in the local market in
Yeah,
in 2023?
yeah, let's just get straight to it. So I did take a look at things this month from looking at the whole year overall. I know a lot of times we'll just do month over month and year over year, but that's the approach I took as we have finished December and now have those 2023 numbers. First up is the median sales price. So the median sales price for our market ended just a little bit under 286. That was up 3.9% year over year ultimately, which kind of fell pretty close in line with maybe what we were expecting. Typically, our market prior to 2020 would see in good years like 4 to 6% increases. So we landed right in there. For some comparison, 2022, we saw an 11% growth in that category. So that just gives you a little bit overall of kind of where the market went in 2023. Next up, we always kind of take a look at that average and median days on market. So that went up in 2023, right? We started to see the length of time that a home spent on market as the market cooled a little bit, go from 6 to 12 for the median. And then the average is the second line up here, and that went up to 40 for the year. So both increases there. Month supply inventory, that's not a number that we can look at like year over year. So this one is the sole one that's kind of month over month. So we ended December at 1.5 month supply of inventory. Keeping in mind a balanced market is generally considered about a 4 to 6 month supply of inventory. So it was interesting. We normally start to see that kind of dive down in the November, December timeframe. So that was down from last month at 2.3, and that was down year over year at 2.1. So we start to see that slide a little bit. And then the last one up in this little first batch here, we take a look at that average list to sales price received. So on average, homes were still selling at 98.5% of list price. At this time last year, we ended the year at 100.1. So we've gone down a little bit, but obviously still near full list price. And we've got another slide coming up in the next batch that looks at how many still sell as a percentage of the list price.
Yeah, and obviously still strong numbers, right? Like
Yeah.
and of course it's all relative, right? Because I could list $100,000 home for $1 million, but yeah, is it worth that? So
Indeed.
yeah, well, what additional items have you been following to track the shifting market? Because I know we're in a
Yeah,
shifting
so just
market.
as the market kind of started to ebb and flow a little bit, last year we started tracking a few different things just to kind of keep an eye on these as well. First up is that active inventory. So we ended the year at 23,573. So that was up about 16.5% over 2022. Next up is the total number of closed sales. So we had just a little over 32,000 units closed in our market in 2023. That was down about 16.5% year over year, where last year we ended a little bit over 38,000. Next up, we kind of been taking a look at that new listings, the number of new listings. So we ended 2023 at 36,893. Similar, this 15.5 to 16.5% decrease is kind of what we're seeing across all these. So the number of new listings was down 15.6% from prior year. And then that last one, I kind of alluded to the number of, we started looking at this one just a couple months back, but the number of closed sales above list price. So obviously, when the average is 98.5, that means some are still selling for over list price and some are selling for under list price because that's what the average is. So we ended the year with 22.8% of the total sales closing above list price, so just a little bit under a quarter. But that was down pretty significantly from last year, down 38%, where we had almost 37% of the total home sales last year closed at over list price.
And I think that's an important thing to note just as a buyer, right? Like
Yeah.
what to expect if you're still negotiating, almost one out of four still selling at or above asking. So
Yeah, and I think
yeah.
if we really wanted to, get hyper local on that, you could start to break it out by county and township and price point, right?
Price point. Yeah.
Like anything in real estate, location drives everything. And so certain price points in certain locations, that number could easily be 50 or 60% are still selling above list price. But it's still good overall to know what's going on.
Which is always why it's good to call a realtor and look at purchasing through a realtor so you can have access and get all this data and know what's good, bad, or ugly as far as writing an offer. Because what may seem like a good deal may or may not necessarily be a good deal, right? As a
Absolutely.
buyer. So yeah. So what about, speaking of buying, what about interest rates? What are they looking like currently?
Yeah, so we always kind of take a look at these each time we do this. Obviously, there's a lot of variables into the interest rate, but we just take a look each time we do this at the primary mortgage market survey that comes out once a week. And so the numbers right now, which is ending yesterday, they actually post this each Thursday. So we ended that week at 6.66%. When we did this last month, we were like at 6.95. So we're down about 0.3%. And obviously, we're down from where we were at this time last year, right? So the 52-week average is 6.82. So we're starting to see a little bit of a decrease. We took a little bit of an increase over the last couple or 3 weeks of December, and we'll kind of see how that shakes out. The general consensus seems to be that we shouldn't go back up into the sevens or see anything near eight again in 2024 like we did in 2023. But obviously, there's lots of variables that go into impacting that rate. So we'll see how everything shakes out. But it does appear that we're on a downward trend. Certainly not going back to 2.5, 3.5%. But if we can steady ourselves in the sixes, that should maybe open up some opportunities for both buyers and sellers.
Yeah, I'm super happy to see where those rates are right now, and that's real good news for kicking off here the new year and for buyers, right? Because this is a big time for people moving around and making shifts and relocating and things like that. So, yeah, super excited to see those numbers for buyers right now. So, any final thoughts about the state of the market then?
Yeah, we just always kind of try to wrap up with something. Obviously, we just crossed into the new year. The new year often brings resolutions or goals or objectives, whatever that may be. So I think the last couple months of the year, we talked about if buying might be on your list. Well, the flip of that is, maybe you have been sitting on the sidelines a little bit the last year and a half, 2 years, if you were thinking about buying because you needed to upsize or downsize or right size, whatever the case may be. Maybe when the rates were above seven, I had you thinking about staying a little bit longer where you're at. But if 2024 has selling, just some ideas here, benefits of working with obviously an experienced, trusted real estate team, our experience, expert insights, pricing and market value, some of the things we've talked about here today, right? Really understanding what the market's doing overall, what's the market doing in the specific location where your home's located. And then, of course, everyone's favorite thing, all the paperwork, contracts, and the fine print. Taking care of that marketing and exposure from hiring a professional photographer to getting it out on the tens of thousands of websites to display your home for sale. And then just that negotiating experience that comes with, closing almost 200 homes a year, and what that enables us to do. So if that's on your mind, would love to get in front of you this year to be able to talk about that, see if it would be a good fit. But that's it. That's where we end it for 2023.
Well, thank you so much, Bob. We always appreciate all your data. We love that you're like the data king for our team and helping to educate our clients and public here to make a smart financial investment, right? Whether they're buying or selling, either way, we want to assist and make sure that they're being good stewards of what they've been blessed with. So, thanks so much for that. And if I know we're kicking off the new year, so if buying or selling a home is in your New Year's resolution or maybe on your vision board, I know we're having vision board training coming up this week. So if you're interested in that, you can check out information on our Facebook page. Everybody's invited. Anyone and everybody is invited, and it's open to the public. But thanks so much for joining us. And if you have a real estate need that we can assist with, let's connect. So you can connect with us with our team at info@eveloteam.com or 317-863-9011. And remember, as always, make each moment count. Thanks, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.
Bye.